The following may contain strong opinionated views. The views and opinions expressed on this show does not necessarily reflect the views or the opinions of any social media or broadcast platform.
Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you around the world and across the country. Here we are once again. It's Thursday. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning in London at 1 a.m., 3 a.m. in Israel, and it's 9 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. We want to welcome each and every one of you, one and all, for another edition of Talk Back Live. We're here every Thursday at this time, and we get together for a little conversation and have a whole lot of fun. No matter where you are around the world, we're right there. We're, of course, global, and you can tell your family and friends about it. And, of course, we want to get you involved in the show as well. Now, for us to do that, all you have to do is just check it out, because I'm the host of the show, so I'm going to tell you how it really runs. First of all, I'd like to thank all of the people who've been around with us all of this time. You already know the protocol. Now, for all of you newbies who may be here for the very first time, we start the show as I get things rolling, because right now I'm in the mode of prep. So I'm prepping the show right now, letting you know what's happening. And as I do it at any time you like, even right now, you can use your keyboard on your computer, your cell phone, or even your tablet. Type it in, whatever you want to talk about. I will see you right there on that big screen. And of course, I'm going to entertain all of your thoughts and ideas. That's what the show is all about, is free exchange of ideas and of opinions. So we want you to get involved with that. Now, we're coming to you live from New York City. That's where we originate. And as we move along, we, of course, talk topics. Now, if there's anything in particular that you may want to talk about, you don't have to wait at all. Just put it in there. You can put it in there right now. We'll get right to it. But I start things going, right, throwing out the topics and, of course, elaborating on your topics. Now, if your topics, and I'm pretty sure they are, if there's any interest to me, the people who are watching, and to yourself, of course, yourself, right? We're going to put it out there. Now, we talk about anything under the sun, so there's no hold bars. We talk about everything under the sun. You can talk about politics. We could talk about sports. We could talk about your pets, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, anything you want to talk about. Even if you have advice, you want us to give you advice. Anything you want to talk about, it's right there. Or you could tell us the topics of the day, or what bothered you about the news today, or what you think may be coming up, anything at all. Just type it right in there and we'll see you. We're so glad to have you aboard with us. And of course, as I said, it's a whole hour of fun and we're here each week at this time. Now, a lot of you may be different time zones, right? Right now, it's 8 o'clock where we are, 2 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock where we are right here in New York City. And it may be a different time zone where you are, but look at your clock, because each week at this time, that's what we come on. That's the time that we come on in your area. So keep that in mind. Tell your friends about us. Remember, all of you guys who are new, you could take the time, especially if you're watching us on Facebook, to tag your friends. Tag this show to your friends on Facebook. You can do that right now. It only takes a second. And all you have to do is do that. And when you do that, they'll see that that information is coming from you. They'll know it's from you because you're friends. They'll click onto it. And it brings them right here. That's how we get them here. All right. So that's how we would like you to share the show, verbally and electronically. That's what we like to say. So do that right now and make sure that your friends know about it. Tell your family and friends, relatives. Now, you can tag as many as you like. It doesn't matter. Now, you may not be able to tag all of your friends because you may have thousands of friends and you don't want to take the time out. But I can tell you what you can do each week that you come on. Now that you're new here, each week, you can tag a few more, and then a few more the following week, a few more the next week, so forth and so on. They'll love it. right? So do that right now, and we really would appreciate it, okay? And those of you who are watching us on YouTube, well, of course, I didn't mention it, but we're on 3 different places, right? I said Facebook, now YouTube, but we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We're here live. So any one of those platforms will get you there. And you could see it right there, all right here, right now, live. And again, for you guys, you YouTubers, you're watching us on YouTube, take the time to click onto our YouTube channel. You're there right now. All you have to do is subscribe to us. We would love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's very important to us. We would love that because we want to see how many people are actually following us and getting acquainted with us, you know. And so that's what we want you to do. Do that. Now, the reason why we want you to do that, the other reason why we want you to do that is because now, from here on in, after you had already clicked on, you did click on, right? All right. After you already subscribed, that gives you the opportunity from here on in, every time you see a pop-up, an instant notification, that means there's an activity going along. Now, let's say, for instance, next week, you totally forget about the show unconsciously, right? And then all of a sudden you see a pop-up. That just reminds you, the show is on the air. Click on to that. Click onto that pop-up and it brings you right to the YouTube channel. And you can watch the show. You don't have to miss anything. All right? So subscribe to us. That's the only way that can happen, if you subscribe to us. And we would love you to do that. And for all of you people who are on different platforms, you watch us on different platforms, that's fine. That's fine. What I want you to do is get acquainted with the YouTube channel as well. That's very important to us. Get acquainted with that as well. You know, you may not want to watch the show on YouTube, but get acquainted. Well, when we go off the air tonight, go to my YouTube channel and take a look at it. That's all. And get acquainted with it at all times. So you have, just in case something happens on Facebook, you can always go to YouTube. You know, technical things do happen every once in a while. Okay. So we got that going for us. And for you guys who are watching us on Instagram, you don't have to do much. All you have to do is just keep passing the word along to your family, friends, and relatives. Let them know that we're out here for them, just as we're out there for you. And we want them to be part of us as well. So there you have all of that going on. Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Okay, we got a lot of things coming up, a lot of things planned, and along with interacting with you, which we're going to be doing for the balance of the show, we want you to know that we do our own little thing too. In just a few minutes from now, we're going to call on Brian Camp. Brian Camp originally comes out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He's our sports guy, and he's going to come along and bring us the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. Pretty sure there's a lot of things to talk about on sports. But guess what? Brian is visiting New York. So he's going to be coming from his location in New York City, and we're going to get a chance to talk to him. He's going to do the sports as usual. He's just going to be doing the sports from his location. So that's coming up. Leaving Charlotte, North Carolina, and coming to New York, and he's going to be here for a while. So be aware of that. Now, you guys who are watching us on YouTube and Facebook, you'll get a chance to see him on camera. Absolutely. Except for you guys on Instagram, you won't get a chance to see him on camera. I'll tell you why, because on camera, we can only do that on Facebook and YouTube. We don't have the luxury to do it on Instagram. That's not available to us. So hopefully Instagram, can you hear us? Can you maybe set things up like that so we'll be able to do that? But listen, even though you won't be able to see him, you'll still be able to hear him. And if you have any sports-related questions for Brian, don't hesitate. Feel free. Type it in there, and he'll see you. Well, we'll see you. If whatever he doesn't see, I see anyway, because I monitor all of it. And then I will spit all of the answers or the questions out to him, and he'll be able to answer all of these sports questions. So all of that is coming up. We're so glad to have you aboard with us. Thank you right here. And just waltz right in, sit right down, grab yourself a rock, a chair, or whatever makes you feel good, and just relax and watch the show. And again, please, you can participate. There's a lot of people that want to watch the show, and if you're here for the first time, and I understand it, maybe you want to make sense out of it instead of actually participating in conversation. You just want to sit back and watch and see how it really goes. And then maybe next week you'll do that, you know. And then there are some people who are just really gung-ho and outgoing, and they'll jump in conversation right there, right? And it may be someone out there that may say something that triggered up another conversation on your part, and you could just bring it out there. So that's what it's all about. We're very friendly people here, and keep that in mind. And you keep something else in mind. Just because you're new, that doesn't make you any less important than the people who have been with us. You're not less important than the people that have been with us a long time. Everyone is important. Everyone that comes here is important. So do all of those things. As I said, you could, if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's it. Well, here we are. We're in the merry, well, not yet. But here we are in April. I was going to say the merry month of May. That's not too far away, though, but it's safe to say that we're halfway down the line of April. And here we are. It's April 17th. And people are waiting. And people are waiting for that hot weather to come along. We had some pretty good weather today in New York City. You know, the temperatures going up. And when the weekend comes along, it's going to be, temperatures are going to even go higher. So we're waiting. You know, it's my kind of weather, my kind of season. And some people, they don't like the warm weather. They'd rather have the cold weather. But you had your chance already, right? And so now it's our turn. The people who love the nice, warm spring and maybe hot weather, tropical weather, it's our turn. So if you live in a place that you have 4 seasons like we do here in New York, you have to live with all of it, right? So I live with the winter, all winter long, all fall, all winter. I lived with it. So now it's time for us, unless, of course, you want to move out for the summer and move to some place where it's a little frigid. It's up to you. But keep in mind that wherever you go, we're still here. That's not an excuse for you to dodge the show if you happen to move someplace else. We're all around the world, so keep that in mind. Anyway, thank you so much. Again, it's April, and of course, this month, we're not celebrating anything special. You know how certain months you celebrate, there's something special that goes on, and we celebrate it. But on this calendar month, we don't have anything in particular to celebrate, unless, of course, you horn in and tell us maybe there is something to celebrate, and you can tell us about that. All right. That's what we're here for. We listen to everyone. All right. Even though we're not celebrating at the moment, but here's a little information that I wanted to pass down to all of you. Okay. And this is not a celebration, but this is just something that we acknowledge for the month of April, and we will keep on acknowledging it and keep on reminding you as long as the month lingers on. This month, we're acknowledging National Alcohol Awareness Month. Okay, that's a very important thing. Now, you've heard me say many times, especially after the end of our show, the coffee hour, when the weekend comes along, I say, if you drink, don't drive. Or if you're going to go out and do the town, and you're going to do a lot of drinking, take a designated driver, preferably someone who doesn't indulge, and they could drive you home. Well, that's where everything falls in, because as you already know, alcoholism is a sickness. And those of you who may be someone that's under that umbrella or have been under that umbrella can tell the story. Maybe you're a recovering alcoholic, and you could tell that story, because a lot of people think, well, you know something, I've been there, I was on that road, and who am I to talk about it? But, my friend, you are the person to talk about it, because you are a man or a woman of experience and know all about it, and you could share your experience with others, you know, and perhaps by doing that, you could help someone else. Anyway, I do have a phone number just in case you or someone that you love, family, friend, relative, anyone that need help, and you can find that help. I have a number here, and the number, you ready to take it down, is 866-927-0484. That's 866-927-0484. Now, when you call that number, if they don't have the answers that you're looking for, I'm pretty sure they can lead you somewhere to where it's possible that you will get the information that you're looking for. Because again, if you're under that umbrella and you're just ready to throw in the towel, before you do that, seek help. It's very important, and a lot of people are doing it. So National Alcohol Awareness Month, and that phone number, once again, he will take it down, is 866-927-0484. That's 866-927-0484. I'm not sure whether or not it's voice, or maybe you could talk to someone live, but I'm thinking in something like this, you always get to talk to someone live for help, because the recorded voices are not going to get it. So I'm just guessing that there's a human voice on the other side that could help you out. Okay, so do that. Character actor Nicky Katt, known best for his film and television roles in Dazed and Confused, Boston Public, and Boiler Room, has died. He was born on May 11th, 1970. Katt got his start at the age of 7, appearing in shows like Code Red, Father Murphy, Fantasy Island, and Herbie the Love Bug, among numerous others. His breakout role was the bully Quint Bruno in the 1983 classic Dazed and Confused, the classic coming-of-age film focused on a group of Austin teenagers celebrating the last day of high school in 1976. And Katt starred in the film alongside Matthew Connelly, Parker Posey, and Ben Affleck. Nicky Katt was 54 years old. Max Romeo, the reggae singer known for War in a Babylon and Chase the Devil, died last Friday. His official Facebook page announced his death last Saturday. And it was with deep sadness that we announced the passing of our beloved Max. We are deeply grateful for the outpouring of love and tribute, and kindly ask for privacy at this time. He was a perfect gentleman and a gentle soul. And he had love for his family, and he was a legend in his own right. And you couldn't meet a nicer person, which makes the loss more difficult. He was 80 years old. If you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And we're talking back live to you. And we're going to be with you, as I said, for the balance of the show up to the top of the hour. But right now, we're going to stay in New York. We usually go to Charlotte, North Carolina, but we're going to stay in New York because Brian Camp visits New York City, and we're happy to have him here, and he's going to do the latest developments in today's world of sports. If you have any sports-related questions, ask him, and he's right here. Welcome to the big town.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. No, I'm not leaving today, but I'm staying today. Or I could do the Jay-Z and Alicia Keys song, but anyway. Hello, New York. I'm here. I am here, and I'm back, and I'm glad to be back. Hello to you all out there, wherever you are around the world. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. But right here in the Big Apple, I'm back, home where it all started. I say hello to all, and whoever's out there tuning in, I greet you with wonderful, warm greetings. It is 55 degrees here in Mount Vernon. I'm not in the city, but I'm close enough. Still part of New York. 55 degrees and clear, and it was a beautiful day today. And hope everybody's doing well. I'm not gonna keep you long because I am in New York, so you know that old saying: whatever happens in New York stays in New York. So,
They used to say about that in Vegas. But
yeah.
if you continue to believe that ideology about whatever happens in Vegas, stay in Vegas, then you're really naive.
True.
Now you ask me, how do I know?
How do you know?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
But what happens in New York? I can tell you this: what happens in New York follows you home.
That's true. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. That's right.
Yeah. Right.
But I'm not gonna be with you long. The NBA got the draft coming up for the for the NFL draft coming up on the 24th of April. That's a week from actually it's week from today. And that will run through the 26th. That'll be on ESPN starting at 8 o'clock next week. So check your local listings of your teams, who they might want to pick. And let's see what happens. The WNBA had their draft, and the NBA are presently starting their playoffs. The Major League Baseball, my San Francisco Giants, they lost today, but you know what? They're having a good year thus far. So we hope that everybody is doing well with their special team. My team is doing pretty well, I must say, and I'm happy for them. This day in sports, in 1892, the first Sunday National League Baseball game, the Reds beat the Cardinals 5-1. 1925, New York Yankee Babe Ruth has ulcer surgery. 1947, Jackie Robinson bunted for his first major league hit. 1951, Mickey Mantle makes his debut with the New York Yankees. He goes 1-for-4. 1963, Pete Rozelle suspends Paul Hornung and Alex Karras for gambling. Yeah, even in 1963. 1968, the Oakland A's, first game at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Stadium, lose 4-1. 1983, Nolan Ryan strikes out his 3,500 batter. 1987, Julius Erving becomes the third player to score 30,000 points. A lot of points. That's both ABA and NBA, and they do count them. Birthdays on this day, 1820. That's a long time ago. That's over 200 years ago. Alexander Cartwright, inventor of baseball, was born in New York City, New York. 1950, Kevin Porter, NBA point guard, was born in Chicago, Illinois. 1961. Today, happy birthday to Boomer Esiason, NFL quarterback, used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals and the New York Jets, was born in East Islip, New York. 1967, happy birthday to Marquise Grissom, Major League Baseball outfielder, World Series champion in 1995, was born in Atlanta, Georgia. And I failed to mention, this past April 15th was Jackie Robinson Day, where everybody wore the number 42. And yes, that is one of the most important things that ever happened in sports history, if not the most. But as you know, he broke not only the color barrier for baseball, but a couple of years after that, the NBA broke through the color barrier, and the NFL too as well. So Jackie Robinson, even though you're a Dodger, who I don't like because I'm a San Francisco Giant fan, I salute you, Jackie Robinson, Jackie Roosevelt Robinson. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports.
And since we're talking about Jackie Robinson, I want to remind people who are going to visit our fair city like Brian is doing right now, if you can, check out the Jackie Robinson Museum in New York City. It's a great thing. I've been there. I've got to go back because, it's like going to Las Vegas. You got to go back again and again because there's always something to learn there. And it's a great thing. It's downtown Manhattan. When you come to New York, you could ask any local person how to get there. I don't have the exact address before me, but I can give it to you tomorrow on the coffee hour. But that's a great museum. I hope it holds up forever. And if anyone even think about messing with that, God help you, because there are so many people that love that museum. So many people go there. They go there every day. So I think that's a good thing to do. And that just ties in. I just thought about that on the top of my head when you mentioned Jackie Robinson. Robinson Day, and then everybody wore the number 42. That was great.
That number will never be worn again in Major League Baseball.
Nope, never again. Never again. Listen, we had lunch today. I just wanted to let everybody know. By the way, Mary is out there. She welcomes you to New York. I know you can't see her because you're on another device, but Mary welcomes you. She welcomes you to New York. And And I must say that Brian and I had lunch today. You know, he came into town, and so we met for lunch today. Had a quick lunch, and he went on his way, and then I had to come here, you know, to get ready for the show. But you're going to be here until when?
I'm leaving Saturday morning, but
Oh, okay,
I'll be here. I'll be in Brooklyn. I'll be on the show tomorrow, but I'll be in Brooklyn.
okay,
I'll be in Brooklyn. You
all
know,
right.
I gotta. I'm a busy person, and who knows? I'm supposed to come back in June. Maybe I'll be in live studio with you. Let's see how that works out.
Okay, let's see
Yeah,
how that happens. Let's see
yeah,
how that works out. That would be great. That'd be great.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I know you got to get going. You know, I don't want to spoil your vacation. So we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow, and thank you for lunch too. You know, your treat.
My pleasure.
It was worth it, and that's why the lunch tastes so special.
It was my pleasure. It was my
Good
pleasure.
night, everybody. Take
Okay,
care, Mary. Take
take care of
care.
yourself. Okay, thanks a lot, Brian. Brian is in New York. He's not in Charlotte this week. He's in New York City. I met with him early today. During the day, we had lunch together. And so whenever he comes into town, we get together. If not once, maybe twice, you know, whatever. But I hope he's enjoying his stay here in New York. Lucky for him, the weather turned out pretty nice. The weather was pretty warm in New York today. It was. It was pretty nice. And so everything is hunky dory. He's going to be here for a while. Maybe I'll get a chance to see him tomorrow or maybe the next day before he leaves. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Anyway, and just in case you're just joining us, the name of the show is call, copy, potato, whatever. It's called Talk Back Live. And we're here with you each week. And of course, we get together and we have great conversation. We'd like all of you to join into our conversation, if you will, because it's always a pleasure to have you guys aboard with us. We just want to try and do a lot of things. Now, summer is coming up, as you already know, right? Summer is coming up. What are your plans for the summer? I mean, a lot of people have a lot of plans and vacations and things like that. And people, they talk about, oh, I don't know if I want to take a vacation in view of what everything that's going on. Um, to tell you the truth, I am supposed to be off to Italy in a couple of months. And I think about it. I say, you know what? I don't know. The way things are, flying is not good. Um, you know, they all of the government jobs are being taken away, and that includes the people who work the air traffic controls. And you know, because without the air traffic controllers, you're not going to fly. All right, those are the people that monitors us. They monitor us and make sure we're on course, on the radar, so we can get to our destinations early. Brian flew, but all of that didn't kick in just yet, and people are just worried about it. It's just a shortage of people, and they're trying to do the best they can. God bless them. All of the airline people, they're trying to do the very best they can with whatever they have going, you know. But again, you know, this summer people are canceling their vacations, not just because of the fact that they're afraid, you know, to travel or to flying or anything. I think it's only, and I don't think anybody's like really talking about that. I think what people are really concerned about are their finances, whether or not they're able to jump on that vacation, jump on that plane or that train and go to another destination and stay for a couple of weeks. You know, whenever I go on a vacation, I like to make it a vacation. I personally do. Some people, they go away for the weekend, uh, and sometimes that's the best they can do. You know, just do it on the weekend. And let's say, for instance, when I go to Vegas, I make it fun. I make it a trip. You know, some people, the average person that goes to vacation in Vegas, the average person stays there for about, if not just the weekend, maybe couple of days after that. I go there for about 8 or 9 days. Because, you know, ladies and gentlemen, after a time there, you kind of get tired and say, you know, I'm ready to go back home. I'm ready to go back home. Not me. I go there for 8, 9 days and have a little fun with it, you know. But even that, you know, and I've said it to a lot of people many times, you know, when you go on these vacations and you've been to a certain place many times, and you think about it, it's not the same as it was when you used to do it a long time ago. But then again, you know something, nothing is the same the way it is. I think what you have to do is try to make the best out of it. And that's what we have to do with life now. We have to try to make the best out of life. What's put here now? What we did 20, 30 years ago, okay, that was fun. All right. But this is not, we're 20 and 30 years in advance now. And so we have to make things, what we have here now, we have to make it a little more fun, even if you don't think it's fun, but you have to make it whatever it's however you make it, right? Anyway, so I'm saying all I have to say is a lot of people are doing a lot of things this summer. People are going to travel. Some people are going to stay home locally and create their own little thing, have friends over, people who own houses, have backyard barbecues and things like that. And there's going to be a lot of things going on. I was just talking to someone just the other day. There's a place where I usually go have my coffee in the morning, and this one guy that I see every day. I stop and talk to him and say, "How's it going? You know, what's going on?" He tells me about his job. Everything is okay. You know, I'm not hit yet with any particular thing. Nobody's bothering me. I'm doing good, and the family is doing good. And I talk for a while because I like to I listen to people. And I was just telling him, I said, okay, summertime. Now, if I don't take a vacation, at least I'm going to stop and go to Brooklyn and hit Coney Island and see what they're doing over there. Although, if all of you remember Coney Island, you guys from New York, you know Coney Island, you know that Coney Island is nothing like it was like in the old days. And but you make the best of it. But the beach is still there. There's Brighton Beach. And I have so many great memories there, and even living there, you know, so many great memories. Anyway, thank you guys for being along with us. We're going to be here, as I said, for the balance of the show, which will be to the top of the hour. And the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And we're talking back live to all of you. And we hope that you stay with us and let's have a good time. Let's have a little fun with us. So right now, I think it's about that time, don't you think? I think it's about that time to go back in time. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to go back in time right now and go back in time and go back on this time and day in history, right? Because on this day in history in 1865, remember that? Mary Surratt is arrested as a conspirator in Abraham Lincoln's assassination. On this day in history in 1912, the first unofficial gold record of Al Joseph's Ragging Baby to Sleep. On this day in history in 1961, 1,400 Cuban exiles landed in the Bay of Pigs in a doomed attempt to overthrow Fidel Castro. And that same year, 1961, the 33rd Academy Awards. The Apartment wins Best Film. So does Burt Lancaster. Elizabeth Taylor wins Best Actor and Actress. Also in 1961, constructions begin on the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. And staying in 1961, Jimmy Swaggart attempts an honorary Oscar on his behalf of his friend Gary Cooper. That's Jimmy Stewart. On his friend Gary Cooper, who was too ill to attend. In 1964, the Ford Mustang was formally introduced. I love that car. 1967, shortwave radio in New York worldwide goes back on the air after a week off. 1969, Sirhan is convicted of assassinating U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy. 1969, the band, formerly known as the Hawks, performed their first concert at the Winterland Ballroom in San Francisco, California. In 1970, Paul McCartney releases his first solo album, McCartney. In 1981, the movie Caveman, starring Ringo Starr, Shelley Long, Barbara Bach, Dennis Quaid, Jack Gilford, and John Matuzak premieres. In 1993, two Los Angeles police officers convicted in federal court of violating Rodney King's civil rights and sentenced to prison, while two others were acquitted. In the year 2015, American jazz composer and saxophonist John Coltrane is awarded the special citation by the Pulitzer Prize Board. In 2017, actor Gary Sinise receives a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his work in the television industry. In 2018, former FBI Director James Comey publishes his political autobiography, A Higher Loyalty, Truth, Lies, and Leadership. In 2019, Beyonce releases live album of her 2018 performance of the same day as Netflix documentary. Remember that one called Homecoming? Okay. Industrialist and banker J.P. Morgan died or was born on this day in 1837. And his birthplace was in Hartford, Connecticut. He died March 31st, 1913, at the age of 75 years old from a stroke. Actor James Holden was born on this day in 1918, birthplace O'Fallon, Illinois. And he died November 12th, 1981. He was 63 years old. And the cause of death was a slip, and he bled to death. And let's see. Oh, we go down the line. Journalist Harry Reasoner was born on this day in 1923 in Dakota City, Iowa. He died August 6, 1991, at the age of 68 years old from a stroke. In 1934, on this day in history, rock and roll producer Don Kirshner was born in the Bronx in New York City, and he died in 2011. In 1936, Peter Graves, R&B vocalist of the Moonglows, not the Pete Graves, they called him, and he was the vocalist of the Moonglows doo-wop group, was born in Jameson, Alabama. He died in 2006. In 1971, Jim Acosta, a former anchor of CNN, he was the CNN White House correspondent, was born in Washington, D.C. He's 54 years old today. Actress Jennifer Gardner was born on this day in 1972 in Houston, Texas. She's 53 years old today. In 1941, singer-actress Doris Day was trombonist Albert Jordan. In 1943, actress Claire Trevor weds Naval Lieutenant psychologist William Dunsmore in Tijuana, Mexico. In 1993, the Bangles lead singer Susanna Hoffs weds Austin Powers director Jay Roach. In 1994, actress Jenny Goff weds Dan Clark. In 2006, actor Eddie Murphy divorces Nicole Mitchell after 13 years of marriage. And let's see, Benjamin Franklin died on this day in 1790 at the age of 84 years old. He was born January 17th, 1706 in Boston, Massachusetts. In 1960, singer Eddie Cochran was big with the big hit Summertime Blues and Come On Everybody dies in a car crash at the age of 21 years old. In 1947, news anchor Frank McGee on NBC Evening News dies of cancer at the age of 52. Civil rights activist Ralph Abernathy died on this day in 1990. He was 64 years old. He died from a blood clot. He was born March 11th, 1926. And his birthplace was Linden, Alabama. Musician Linda McCartney, who was married to Paul McCartney, died on this day in 1998, at the age of 56 years old. She died from breast cancer. She was born September 24th, 1941 in Tulsa and Tucson, Arizona. Actress Doris Roberts died on this day in 2016 at the age of 90 years old. She was born November 4th, 1925, and she was born in St. Louis, Missouri. Former First Lady Barbara Bush died on this day in 2018 at the age of 92 years old. She was born June 8th, 1925 in New York City. In 2023, singer April Stevens, she did that hit with her brother called Deep Purple. Brother was called April Stevens. She was April Stevens and he was Nino Tempo. And they did that song called Deep Purple. Well, she died at the age of 93 on this day. And that's what's happening on this day in history. And if any one of you know anything that's happening on this day in history, and of course you would like to talk about it, okay, well, fine. We welcome that. Because we don't know everything. I mean, sometimes we think we know everything, but we don't have all of the answers. And sometimes something happens on this day in history that I didn't mention and you may know about, and we would like you to relay it to us just as well and let us know. So this way we can put it out there just as well. We thank you guys for being along with us. All of you guys who are watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and all of those marvelous places. We thank you so much for that. And of course, I must mention that if you're watching us and you like to indulge in conversation, feel free. We're open. All you have to do is let your fingers do the walking on your keyboards on your computer. Right? Get the computer going. Right there you go. And of course, you know, I will see you right there on the big screen and you can talk to us and we'll talk back to you. Now, I see people who may pop up. And if they don't say anything, of course, I'm not going to say anything either because that's out of respect. Okay? They just may want to just watch the show and not be acknowledged. And I appreciate that. And because maybe next time you'll be able to do it. But a lot of people, they rather just sit back and watch the show. So, but I do see you out there. But if you're not going to say anything, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to acknowledge you, you know, because out of respect, unless of course you say something first, that would be great. Mary says, have a good night. Catch up on the coffee hour. I guess that means she's leaving. You're leaving us, Mary? That's okay. Now, for those of you who have to leave too, we appreciate the time that you gave us. But we also like you to stick around. For those of you who can stick around for the balance of the show, we would love you to do that too. Because we still have a few things to say and we want you to be part of the show as well. But Mary, if you're leaving us, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow on the coffee hour, which I will be telling the rest of you guys about later on in the program, coffee hour. Okay. Got all of that going on right here. And it's right here for you. We got things going. Well, you know, I don't know if you guys seen it. And I sometimes I laugh at a few things that go on in the news. And sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying. But did you hear the story that, and I saw it. I couldn't believe my eyes. I saw it. JD Vance, that's the guy that says he's the vice president. I'm not sure how that's going because you very rarely see him, you know, anyway. But we'll call him JD Vance. I don't know. Some of you may say vice president. I'll just call him JD Vance. JD Vance fumbled the college football national championship trophy as he tried to hoist it up during the White House celebration for winning the 2024 college football playoff of the Buckeyes. That's his home state, you know. And I don't know if you've seen it, but he was trying to hoist up the trophy. And then I think it looked to me that somehow the trophy fell apart and he dropped it and he picked it up again and put it back in place. But I looked at it and I said, how did he miss catching that? How did he miss catching that? You know, so the whole world saw that. So I guess he kind of embarrassed himself. And I could see some of the players that were around him. They looked like, they said, oops. They looked like they were embarrassed for him. That was just something I brought out there. You know, a little story that could, you know, make you laugh a little bit too. You know, I mean, even JD Vance makes mistakes. Even he's subject to being embarrassed, something like that. But then when you look around every day, it's always the case. But we'll talk about that another time. Hey, kudos to Harvard University. I want to say hello and take my hats off to the people at Harvard University. Now, I would think that most of the universities around town, around the country, would jump on board with Harvard University, who refuses to give in on the threats, on the bulliness, by saying they're saying, well, if you don't do this, you're not going to get this money. We're not going to fund you. We're going to take you to court. We're going to lock you up. We're going to castrate you, whatever it is. They didn't go for it. They didn't go for it. And the reason why they were threatened is because the felon said that they didn't like what they were teaching. Certain things they shouldn't teach, or certain things they shouldn't say, or certain kind of students they shouldn't have, that kind of thing. But Harvard fought back and said, no, you're not going to tell us who or what to teach here. So what they're saying they're going to keep all of the history going, keep everything that they've been teaching for years. They're going to keep continuing to teach. Barack Obama, who is a graduate of Howard University, came out and made a statement on that too. I don't have the statement in front of me, but I guess you could always go on the website and check out what he said. Now, obviously I knew he was going to at some point horn in and say something about it, being that he was a Harvard graduate, and say something about it. But Harvard stood up, as opposed to Columbia University. They should have done the same thing. They didn't do that too. So they kind of like fell through the rabbit hole. They fell in the rabbit hole, and I guess they call what they call bending the knee, bowing the head, tote that barge, lift that veil, that kind of thing, which a lot of people are starting to think now, well, something, we're not going to do that anymore. We're finished with that. You're destroying our lives, and we're not going to do that anymore. So congratulations to Harvard University. And I urge all of the universities around the country to take heed to that, take note of that. Money is not the answer to everything. You could be hurt. All of us are going to be hurt. All of us are going to be a little cuts. We're going to fall down a little bit because of everything that's going on right now. People are worried about their investments. People are worried about their checks coming in each month from Social Security. People are worried about the taxes. Are they going to get their taxes on time that they work for? People are worried about a lot of things. And we got to keep up the fight, baby. Keep up that fight, because that's what it's all about. And it's and just like the felon is so defiant, we have to be defiant too. And speaking of him being defiant, we already heard on the news today, and he and all his cronies, they were in the White House, and you probably saw it early this week. They met with the president of El Salvador, right? They got together, who was another dictator. He came here and met with the felon in the Oval Office of the White House. But the felon defied the Supreme Court this week. And it's big in the news. It took up all of the space in the news. It took up all the oxygen in the news, except for maybe today, because we heard about that shooting that took place in Florida, right? We heard about that. That took place in Florida, on Florida campus. One person got killed. There were like 6 injuries. But the felon had defied the court, and they don't want to return the man they took to El Salvador. And the man they took to El Salvador was Kilmer Abrigo Garcia. All right. We all know who he is. His wife is waiting on him. His wife, as a matter of fact, got in front of the press yesterday, and of course, pleading to the felon is that they got to bring him back, because you heard the story before, right, folks? Heard the story about they took all of those people, they round them up, they wrangled them. Some from New York City, some from other places, wrangled them and sent them out to El Salvador. And some of those people in El Salvador never had criminal records. God forbid you wear a tattoo. God forbid you wear a tattoo. There'll be a tattoo of "I love you, mom" or something, and you're automatically a gangster. You automatically, they're gonna put you right there, and they're gonna take them away, just like they took that young lady from the university. I think it was Tufts University. They took her away. Now she's in New Orleans in a jail cell. You know why? Only because she was wearing her attire. She's Muslim. Because she was wearing her attire. She's Muslim. Or the color of her skin. She's a brown girl. You know. And so again, he defied the court. And this is going to take a long time before this materializes. And if he gets away with this, think, ladies and gentlemen, if he gets away with this, what is it going to be for the rest of us? They may come here and round us all up. They may take me. They may take you. You know, and we're citizens of this country, born and raised. You know, and the way it looks now, I've never lived or witnessed anything like this. And I tell people time and time again, I say it jokingly, but, you know, it makes a lot of sense. I didn't know I was going to live this long. In other words, I didn't know I was going to live this long to see all of this go on. Now, I have a mom and dad who I love very much. They're no longer with me. And as much as I wish they were here sometimes, I'm glad they're not here to see this, you know, because of the upbringing that brought me here, you know. It's not like it was before. Everything changes, you know. Ideology changes. All kinds of things change. And it's not like it was before, you know. And they're trying to bring back the past, back to the future, back to where we are now. In other words, not bring back the past, but bring us back to the past. You know, this is not 1950s anymore. And you're not going to enslave women anymore. You know, there was a time when the woman stayed home, the man worked, he was the breadwinner, and women didn't have careers after they got out of high school. Some of them maybe went off to college, but after that, they went back home. They took care of the kids. Back in the 1950s, there's no more of that anymore. But, you know, they would like to bring all of that back. And that's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. No, there's just too many things going on. And it's all of the people. When the people speak out, you know, that's when they take heed to it. You know, so I say bring him back. Bring back Kilmore. Bring him back. Bring him back. Kilmore Garcia, bring him back. Because we don't really know anything about him. We don't know that he's a member of a gang. And we don't know, you know, that he did anything wrong or he committed any crime. What do you think due process is for? That's what due process is for. And every one of those people who were wrangled, round up, and sent out to where they were, and some in El Salvador and some in New Orleans. You rounded up, but never had the chance to prove that they weren't criminals. Never had that chance. No due process at all. The felon, we got a felon in the White House. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. How does that work? How does that work? We got a felon in the White House calling the shots, saying, you know, we got to get these criminals out of here. A criminal saying, we got to get these criminals out of here. How does a criminal get to say that? How does a criminal get to call shots like that? How does a criminal say, you know what? We don't want you here. You don't belong here. Why don't I belong here? Oh, I have my proof. I don't care. You're a Muslim. You're brown. You're black. You don't belong here. But I looked at the news just yesterday. I saw her husband, her wife. I saw Kilmore's wife. You know, she was in front of the press, and she's just hoping. She's saying they took so much from her, so much from her children. In other words, her dad, and they want him. They want him back, and I think he should come back, and I hope he does come back. And so the courts are there. The Supreme Court. You got to get stronger. And let me wrap up with this one. If the Supreme Court did what they were supposed to do the first time, we wouldn't be having to deal with this today. But instead, they went for the okie doke, the delay, 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 delay. And now he's back. And he told you what he was going to do. And remember, you guys who voted for him. And now you guys are feeling it. I didn't vote for this. I voted for a few things, but I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for Elon Musk. I didn't put him in office. And this is what you got. So, but still in all, I want everyone, every American, to enjoy the great things that we have been enjoying all the years that we have been on the earth here. Freedom, freedom of speech, freedom to roam around, freedom to talk without anyone saying, you know, that's it, no money for you, and no breakfast for you, no dinner for you. Hey, I got some movies, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you. I only have 2 this week, and they're all from Turner Classic Movies. And of course, you know, the weekend is coming up. And during the weekend, of course, all of you guys, you do a lot of things, do different things. Of course, you like to talk about setting up the barbecue pit. As Brian has the smoker, they don't have barbecue pits anymore. Everything is compact now. Not compact, but full size. And you can put all the food on there. The smoker, as Brian would say. All right. I think Brian has maybe about 2 or 3 of those things. I don't know. Anyway, you talk about your weekend, how you're going to spend it. One of the things that you might want to do is catch up on some movies you haven't seen in a long time, right? You want to catch up on some of those? Well, you can do that. You can do that. And I want to add my 2 cents to these movies, all right? Here's what I have for you. Here's a movie from 1949 called The Setup. I love this movie. They very rarely play it, but I think you should watch it when it comes on. It stars Robert Ryan, Audrey Tautou, and George Tabasas. And it's about a boxer. It's about a boxer. And I'm not going to give you the full scope of the overall theme of the movie, but it was a boxer who the gangster set up to lose his fight. And that's all I'm going to say about that. It's called The Setup. 1949, Robert Ryan, Audrey Tautou, and George Tabasas. And you can see that on Turner Classic Movies. And you can see that Sunday at 12 a.m. And it comes on twice, 12 a.m. Sunday at 12 a.m. midnight, Saturday night, Sunday morning, midnight, and then again at 10 a.m. on Sunday. So you can see it twice. It's called The Setup. And here's another chilling one from 1957, one of those Alfred Hitchcock movies called The Wrong Man. You ever see that one before? Henry Fonda, Vera Miles, and Anthony Quayle. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. And of course, you can check that out on Sunday at 3:45 a.m. Eastern. And that's a great movie. I love it. I could see that movie 1,000 times without getting tired watching that. Now, when you go on Turner Classic Movies, ladies and gentlemen, you can go there and check out, if you open up the program guide, and you can see a lot of movies. Some movies maybe I didn't mention, but you might see some that say, oh, yeah, that's a great one. I saw that before. I want to see it again. That's just not my pick of the week. These are my picks of the week. And so you could put those on your bucket list, too, to watch during the weekend that's coming up. And, of course, you know, while you're there, you can check out all of the free movies on demand. It's right there. From A to Z, there's a lot of great movies. If you have cable, some people still have cable, you can see all of those movies, from A to Z. They're free. And of course, you have the pay-per-view movies there, and you have children's programs, and you have what else? A lot of things. You have the children's programs, and you have the sporting events, a lot of things. And of course, since you're so resourceful and a lot of things coming up, you have Netflix and all of those great things. All right. So let me give you these movies once again. It's called The Setup. Robert Ryan, Audrey Tautou, and George Tabasas. And that's on Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday twice at 12 midnight. That's Sunday morning, 12 midnight, and 10 a.m. Eastern. And The Wrong Man from 1957, Henry Fonda, Vera Miles, and Anthony Quaid. Turner Classic Movie. That's Sunday at 3:45 a.m. I hope you enjoy these movies, and let me know how you like that. All right. It's time for me to go, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm going to come back tomorrow morning, or I hope to see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And that's Good Friday. Good Friday means that Sunday is Easter. Thank you, Mary. Good Friday tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Brian Camp will be here doing what he does, coming from New York with sports, the latest developments in today's world of sports, on the Sports Update. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you then. And then you can meet us back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of Talk Back Live. Brian Camp again. And, of course, the rest of you as well. So until that time, ladies and gentlemen, until tomorrow, have yourself a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant good night. We'll see you soon. Take care.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allan. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.